What is up, everybody, and welcome to another Birds of the Roundtable. It is Tuesday evening, and you are watching the best Eagles show, period. Of course, joining me as always, I have Dives. What is going on, Dives? How are you tonight?
Doing well, man. Last show before the start of Eagles training camp. We made it, man. The last month or two have been brutal, just trying to find topic after topic, but we are here. We are just one more show away from breaking it all down, and what a season it's going to be. It's going to be a blast. I'm interested for you guys to hear my selections on this thing, because there's a lot of players that are not going to be on my rankings because I'm sticking true to my guys. So here we go.
Well, there you go. As always, the Dives rules are always in effect. And, of course, as always as well, David checking in. How are you, David? How are you tonight?
I'm doing well, man. I'm looking forward to talking tonight because defense has been a little rough the past decade, but we go back 40 years. We got Hall of Fame Eagles, NFL Hall of Famers. I mean, there's going to be some big names that we get to talk about.
Absolutely. We got a couple of people checking in already. Daniel, Q, and E Money in the house. If you're out there right now, follow along with us. We did last week. We did the offense. You can check out that show in the description or on any social media for Edge of Philly Sports. So we are essentially going over the last 44 years since 1980, the best Eagles, the top five in each defensive position, as you can see here on our list. Boys, do we have any preference of where we want to start?
Let's go safety. let's get the big one out of the way.
Okay. All right. Well, while we're doing this, Dives, I know you're getting the pictures ready. You're putting all the fun stuff, so it makes it look really nice. And obviously, I know that you're already working on the number one safety, because if you don't, I'm just going to go ahead and quit. And I'm pretty sure everyone listening and watching will go ahead and riot as well. There he is. There's our number one safety, Weapon X, Brian Dawkins. Don't even need to talk about it. He was the man. So the question is, who follows him? David, who do you got for your number two safety?
I got a guy who played with the Eagles for 11 seasons. He missed 1 year, so he only got to play 10. He was injured in 1987. For anybody who remembers him, I selected Wes Hopkins, number two.
Nice. Very nice. Dives, should we ask you what your number two is, or are you busy getting Wes Hopkins together?
Nick says taking a break from Summer League. I am not. I got it on the TV here. We'll be doing a post-game show right after this, Nick. So, nope. Yeah. There's no break.
Have no fear. Dives is talking Summer League.
Number two, again, sticking to guys that I grew up watching. As a guy that I loved watching very much. Give me Malcolm Jenkins. He only made one Pro Bowl. One of the best free agent acquisitions in Eagles history. Was the anchor of that Super Bowl secondary. Just a staple in Philadelphia. One of the best guys just to root for, man. Give me Malcolm Jenkins.
Q disagrees, says Reed Blankenship. Listen, I got to go with David here. I have Wes Hopkins on my list. So I would say that's where do you have Wes, by the way, if we don't mind you asking there, Dan?
Nowhere.
He's not on my list.
Oh my God. Oh wow. I already know how tonight is gonna go, folks.
Hey, he said he was sticking true.
True to what? I don't know, but not the right list. That's for sure.
He was like 5 when Wes Hopkins played.
Listen, I get it, but that's the first Eagles games that I was watching was when Wes was roaming the secondary. So
yeah, he was fantastic.
Yeah,
I did have Jenkins third.
As did I. So I think we're good for putting Jenkins third. for sure. All right. So if that's our number 3, Dives, who officially was your number 3?
My number 3 on my rankings. I'm going back to 2003. He made 2 All-Pro selections, 1 Pro Bowl. Just one of the more underrated players of his time. Give me Quentin McCall, who went from just a great special teams player to a legit Pro Bowl player.
Hey, I got him on my list at number 5. So
Wow. Okay.
you don't have Q on your list?
I'm a little speechless for the first time in my life. I mean, you might as well have said Macho Harris for crying out loud.
Macho Harris.
I mean,
Q is much better than that.
No, obviously, I'm just kidding. But okay, okay. And but that was your number 3.
Yeah, man.
Oh God.
He's my number 5.
I'm gonna be
You-
sick.
you want my number
who's your
4?
number 4? Yeah, who's your number 4 there, David?
Andre Waters, man.
Absolutely, thank you, Andre Dirty Waters.
Absolutely.
He
was the original number 20, I remember.
He was. He absolutely was. All right. So
he struck
do we
fear
want
into the hearts of men. There's no doubt about it.
Oh man, did he ever. All right. So Dibes, who is number 4 and number 5 on your list?
I went number 4, Michael Lewis, part of that ridiculous 2002 draft class.
Sure.
One of the better in the box safeties in this group. And then number 5 was a tough one, but I thought he wasn't here that long, but when he was very solid. Give me Rodney McLeod, who was another good free agent acquisition for the Birds.
I like Rodney McLeod. This is tough.
I had Rodney 6.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think I did too. Vince, we're only going from 1980 on. Just kind of we kind of put it to our lifetime essentially. Michael Zordich. Wow,
Zordich is great. He was a great name.
I forgot about Michael George's number. What was he? Number 36? 46? 46. Yeah, 46. All right. Well, listen, you guys put Quentin Michael.
Yeah, I got him 5th. Dobbs has him 3rd.
Yeah, I guess. All right, put him on there then. We'll put Quentin on there. Not
Justice for
Quentin
Q, man.
on the chat. Yeah.
All right, I got it.
All right. Okay.
Great photograph too.
Yeah.
So him and Malcolm wore the same number, huh?
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, I kind of forgot about that too.
Me too.
Yeah, I do obviously have my Malcolm Jenkins jersey for my number 27. So
just for the record, I think every single position has an obvious top person. I only can see one debate on the entire thing, but I think they're all 5 solid number 1s.
Yeah, I'd say that's very true. Do we want to move along to stay in the secondary and go corner?
Yeah. Let's wrap up the secondary.
Okay, there you go. Here it is. I was waiting for this comment. Quentin is always a good pick. Knew that was coming. All right. Dives, who do we have for your number 1 safety?
Don't mess it up.
Number 1. Now I'm nervous. Oh God.
Yeah. He's messing
again. I'm going with my list, so I know it's going to be different because there's a good chunk of '80s guys that are not going to be on my list. But I'm going with Troy Vincent, 5-time Pro Bowler, 3-time All-Pro. The Eagles acquired him in a trade with the Dolphins in the mid-'90s, and 74 interceptions, 5.5 sacks, just a flat-out leader on and off the field.
Yeah, he was a great player. David, do you share in the sentiment of Troy Vincent, or do you have somebody else?
No, I picked the correct person who should be number 1. I went with a guy who played in 217 games for the Eagles. He was a Pro Bowler. He had 54 interceptions, which is more than Deion Sanders. He had 8 of them returned for touchdowns, which is more than Deion Sanders. And he already should be in the NFL Hall of Fame. It is Eric Allen.
That is correct. Number 1, Eric Allen. Which again makes sense for Dibes's. I don't know that the 80s existed, even though I lived in them.
I didn't really get into the Birds until like mid 90s. So
Well, that makes total sense.
That sounds like a failure in your childhood.
I do have Troy Vincent second, though.
I do have Troy Vincent second as well.
All right, let's put him in second.
Yeah. So that way he's not just sitting there in the linebacker, list there, just wondering what the hell happened to his life.
Troy Vincent's also the same with Eric Allen. They are not only great players, they are both great people, man. They do a lot for everybody. It is a pleasure that they were two people who represented the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah, absolutely. Brian checking in, the fellow Pennsbury High alum. There you go. And Brian saying B-Doc, Reggie, Chuck. Yeah, we're just doing since 1980 to current. So none of the 60s, 70s, and even beyond. So we're just kind of keeping it to the last 40 plus so years. David, I'll go back to you. Who is your number 3 corner?
My man, Lito Shepherd.
Nice. Lito.
I would sing it, but I just don't have the voice for it. But
Whoa. No,
it was pretty
Hamdi
good.
eats his lunch in his car. Asamoah. No, he is not making our list. He made our worst Eagle corners list.
He would make my top 5 wife list, though. He's done well there and done very good in getting acting appearances. I don't know how good he is as an actor, but he finds his way on some things.
Dabs, I'm assuming you putting him up there means that you also have Lito pretty high?
I also have Lito number 3. No, number 2 on my list.
Right. You just ignored the 80s, but yeah.
Until this year, he was the last first round pick the Eagles had ever made at cornerback. So what was that? 02, right?
02, yeah. That was a good year.
Yep.
All right. Dives, I'm very interested to seeing who your number 3 is.
Actually, like, you can call me crazy, but
crazy.
I'm going. My number 4 is Sheldon Brown. I thought Sheldon Brown was quietly one of the best players in the NFL during his time. 26 interceptions, 8 sacks. Again, going back to that 2002 draft, just legit NFL star.
This year is very reminiscent of that, isn't it? Back-to-back defensive backs and stuff is very reminiscent.
Sure. Fingers crossed, man.
Absolutely. David, do you share in the Sheldon Brown love, or do you might have another potential?
I have Sheldon Brown 5th. I have him number 1 in playoff hits on Reggie Bush, but
he certainly is the only one on that.
That
you need. But I have a feeling you have somebody else there in mind, huh?
Yeah, my number 4, I went with the kryptonite for Mr. Michael Irvin, and that was Bobby Taylor. He just shut that dude down, man. Somebody posted a couple days ago, and I don't remember which account it was, but I wrote down the stats. From 95 to 99, Michael Irvin had 3 touchdowns in 9 games and only 34 receptions. And prior to that, he used to eat the Eagles alive. They drafted Bobby Taylor out of Notre Dame with the sole intent to shut down Michael Irvin. Number 1 priority, and it worked.
And certainly it worked. All right. Well, number 4, I have somebody a little different that I don't know. Maybe Dives. It seems like, David, your list is already done. Dives might have him. But what about a little love for Asante Samuel?
He's my number 6.
Dives, any thoughts on Asante?
I had Bobby Taylor, my number 4, and Asante, my number 5.
Okay. So you, again, you didn't have the number 1 on your list here. This is tough. This is tough because
Who are we
Yes,
going
So
to
we
leave off?
got 3 guys for 2 spots.
Yeah, basically. So David, you had him 6th. I had him 4th. Dives, you had him 4th, right?
I had Sheldon 3, and I had Bobby Taylor 4.
Okay, Bobby Taylor 4. And then so you had Sheldon, Bobby, then Samuel.
And how did you have them?
I had Samuel, then Bobby, then Sheldon.
So
Was
Sheldon's the
my,
odd man out then.
that for me anyway.
Yeah.
All right. So we're going Bobby number 4.
And Asante 5.
Not too
I
hard.
mean,
I mean, I think we can't go wrong either way that we do it.
No. Who did y'all have after that? I had Slay, actually.
yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one. I didn't go past that, but that would have been probably where I was headed.
I did 7 at every position just preparing for Dobbs. So
There you go. That's smart. Mr. Sandman apparently is choosing violence today. Selecting Byron Burnt Toast Maxwell. How dare you bring up that name on this show? Bono with another
Kerry.
block. We got a Bono alert.
Kerry
Bono
Sconce
alert.
Williams is a good one too. But
Kerry Sconce Williams. Oh man, that's a good one too. All right, so let's keep moving it along here, and we appreciate everybody chiming in here. If you are on Twitter, X, whatever we're officially calling it these days, please make sure you click into the video before you select your comments, because then we'll be able to see them live on air. Brian, who remember Izell Jenkins? Of course, yeah, Izell Jenkins. That was a great Eagles defensive back. All right, gentlemen, let's move on to the linebackers, my personal favorite. Can I just go ahead and start with the number 1? That should be the number 1 in all of our number 1s, even though Dives doesn't do the 80s, but still should be the number 1, and Seth Joyner.
yes. He was with the Eagles for 8 years. He had over 50 sacks, 25 or so interceptions. I mean, the guy was an absolute monster, man. He's another one who unquestionably should be in the NFL Hall of Fame.
Yes.
If there's 2 guys, you're looking at Eric Allen and Seth Joyner. They're both vastly treated improper by the NFL Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Agreed. I'm really afraid to ask Dimes if he has him number 1.
I don't have Seth Joyner on my list.
Oh.
Our other co-host was actually on his show last year too.
I remember that.
Yeah.
So that might mean he's watching. So he's going to put you in a stranglehold, Dobbs.
Good. Well, listen, Seth, I apologize. For Dimes. He apparently
I've now missed 2 number 1s.
Yeah, you've just blocked out the 80s like as if they didn't happen.
I told you before we started. Yeah, even last week.
It doesn't
anybody not in my childhood.
But
I respect it. At least you stay true to yourself.
What's that worth for you? Missing out on number 1.
All right. I think there should be a consensus. LB2 as well.
Okay. There should be, but Dodge, who is number 1 on your list?
I got Trot.
Of course.
Okay. All right.
No
consensus number 2. Move him in.
I mean, just the X-Man. He only had 1 All-Pro nomination, which is crazy, but yeah, he's a beast.
Rufus says B and E was a better linebacker.
He is next on my list.
B and E.
Byron Evans.
Yeah, Byron Evans.
I have him 3 overall. He was an absolute menace.
Agree to disagree, but Byron Evans was an absolute amazing linebacker. Obviously, we can assume not on Dibes' list. Nope.
Am I putting him number 3?
I mean,
He was with the Eagles for 8 years. I mean, he was a starter. He was the leader, middle linebacker for most of those years. I mean,
Yeah.
his career ended prematurely due to injury. It was kind of sad, but
Yeah.
he was a linchpin in that defense, man. He was a monster.
Yeah, he absolutely was.
He had
Dodge,
184 tackles one season. I mean,
Jesus,
it's just unbelievable.
that's just not
And it
fair.
wasn't because they were on a bad defense either. That was like the 89-90 defense. It wasn't
the,
like he had to clean everything up. He was
Right.
just a beast.
That was one of the best defenses to never win at all.
You got that right.
All right, Dodge. So who is your number 2 behind Trotter?
These were hard. These were really difficult because obviously I'm going guys I've watched. I'm going to go a guy that never made a Pro Bowl with the Eagles, but it was a time also when the defense was super thin on talent, and I thought he was the best player, period. What do you guys think about D'Amico Ryans?
I loved him.
I mean, he was great here, but unfortunately, such a short period of time.
Another guy who got hurt.
Another guy who got hurt. Another guy who is known for doing things elsewhere.
Great nickname, Mufasa. Can't go wrong there.
Sure.
Chip Kelly did that right. Bringing him over here was a really good move.
So wait, was he your number 2?
He was my number 2. Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, that's going to put him on the list somewhere. You can't have a 2 and he's not making.
I mean,
So
it is when you block out an entire decade where most of the linebackers were. But
I had him number 7. Again,
Yeah.
I went to 7 at every position because of this.
I did not. So I don't have him on my list per se.
So who's your 4?
All right. So my 4. Who did I have? Where is mine? I literally just lost my list. I had it all written down here. Sorry. Give me 2 seconds.
I went a little unconventional at my 4.
Okay. Go ahead.
I went somebody recent. I went with Jordan Hicks.
Yeah. Jordan Hicks was my 5.
Jordan Hicks was my number 6.
Yeah. I think he's underrated. A lot of fans were mad at him. He got hurt during the Super Bowl season, etc. But
Yeah.
I think if you're looking at the past, 20 years, man, I can't find a linebacker better, really. I mean,
yeah, and it's a shame that he just just had so many darn injuries.
and when he was here, then he went somewhere
Yeah,
else.
then he was exactly.
Yeah, he had like 3 seasons of great health. But
so for my number 4, and again, you guys tell me, because theoretically he did play into the 1980 season, and that's Bill Berge.
yeah, I didn't pick him because I just did the cutoff, but
he beats the cutoff by
he does
by a smidge,
by a season, but
yeah, by a smidge. So if we're going to take him out because of that, I can understand that. I'm not going to argue.
Bill Berge should absolutely be on this list.
Yeah, I mean he's one of the best ever linebackers for the Eagles. So, and it's slim pickings after this, so you can choose between D'Amico and Hicks.
I mean,
my next one.
Can I shout out Michael Kendricks?
Absolutely, yeah.
I was a big fan of Michael Kendricks.
Sure.
When he was here. I mean, I thought was an excellent athlete. He was consistent. He didn't play very long, but when he did, 80 plus tackles both seasons.
Great stock advice.
I was just about to say, oh man.
I had Carlos Emmons next.
Carlos Emmons is my number 6.
I had Nigel Bradham.
Yeah, I had Bradham after him, but yeah. But that's all I have. I mean, it really is slim pickings.
No, Rufus Reddick, we would not have counted as a linebacker.
He's on my list.
Edge for sure.
Edge.
The man, the myth, the legend, Kiko Lot. Man, Mr.
No way, man. Did we traded him for?
Playing with fire.
McCoy? Was it?
He had one great interception on Monday Night Football, and that's about it.
That was an amazing interception.
All right, are we doing Ryans or Hicks for number 5?
Y'all decide. I'm good
It's
with
up to
either
you,
one.
Dobbs. I don't care either way.
Who
Well,
did you
none
have
of you
higher?
had Ryans. I liked Hicks a lot too. Let's go Hicks.
Who'd you have higher?
Me?
Yeah.
I had D'Amico Ryans.
Then put D'Amico Ryans. There we go. Boom.
All right.
Done. Q says linebacker Brandon Graham.
What? No.
I love how pretty much anybody who's ever been an edge can be considered a linebacker if you just try real hard enough.
Now,
Right. Yeah, now, exactly. But not back then. All right. So moving right along here, we are going to go for interior defensive line, the big boys. Let's see what we have. I don't know how I'm going to feel about this when what I know is about to happen, David.
yes,
And I feel like not only am I going to be hurt inside, there's gonna be a little anger, but there's also a little bit of disrespect. Not have Jerome Brown number 1 by just default, whether or not you knew that the 80s existed or not. It still is Jerome Brown.
the only argument against him is his life was cut short after 5 years, and Fletcher Cox played, a decade and won the Super Bowl, etc. But
Sure.
if you go by talent and player and dominance, it's unquestionably his peak is the highest of any interior defensive lineman in my lifetime.
Yes, and he was by far the best D tackle at the time. And whereas Cox, I feel like he was up there, but there were, there's some other guys that you can talk about throughout his career that, probably, pushed him out of that number 1 spot. So
Like Aaron Donald.
Like, plenty of other people. But yeah, but let's put Fletcher Cox number 2. I think that's a nice, easy one. What the question that I have, and I'll pose this directly to David, is where do you think Dives has Jalen Carter on his list?
5.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. I think he's, he'll put him in there just to like, hey, well, I'm not whatever, but Dives, can we have an update? Is it number 5?
He is not on my list.
Is he honorable mention? Is he honorable mention?
Give me 1 more year and then yeah.
Oh man.
He's already a top 50 player for PFF and all of the NFL. So he's moving up.
Yep.
Yeah. He sure is.
He's going to be number 3 on this thing in a couple of years, and that's not a joke. But
I'm going to go. My number 2 is a guy that I really liked, and 32 sacks in 5 years helped the team get to the Super Bowl in 2004. 6th overall pick helped the Eagles defense go from worst to best in league history. Give me Corey Simon.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Consensus number 3.
Yeah, easily. Not even a question there. That is a good one. Oh, we gotta vote for Hollis Thomas.
He's on my list.
Hollis is on my list.
Love me some Hollis Thomas. He's a real good dude. If you've never had a chance to hang out with him, he's pretty much now at every single Philly sports trips. So if you ever travel with Philly sports trips, and I recommend that you do, you'll see him pretty much just sitting in the corner, surrounded by his people. He just sits there. He chats with everybody, takes pictures. He's the coolest guy absolutely in the world. But once he has his spot, he don't move. He does not move.
You aren't wrong, but he is gracious and takes time with every single person who comes up to him, man.
Absolutely. You got to love that. So, all right, are we going to put him number 4?
I have him 4th.
Okay.
I had him 5th.
Yeah, I had him 5th, but that's more personally fine. Dives, from your list, who are we missing?
I'm going to guy who spent 7 of his 9 NFL years in Philadelphia. He was part of 4 straight trips to the NFC Championship game and the Super Bowl team in 2004. I thought he was pretty underrated at the time. Give me Darwin Walker.
Darwin Walker. I like that. David, what say you for your number 4?
I had Darwin 7. I have number 5. I had Mike Patterson.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, he was yeah, that's a really good one. I didn't even oof, man. So basically it's a toss up between Darwin and Patterson. Man, I feel like Patterson never really hit the ceiling that we all thought, but he was consistent.
Yeah, he was really good.
He was
Is
real
he the big guy who ran like a 90-some yard touchdown one game? I'm pretty sure that was him.
Yeah, I'm
He
pretty
like
sure that
did
was
a
him
fumble
too.
scoop and was like unconscious when he made it to the end zone, but he made it to
Yeah,
the end
well,
zone.
yeah, I was gonna say he probably needed 8 oxygen tanks. Um, hmm. I'm good. I'm good with I'm good
I'm
with
good
Patterson.
either way.
Yeah,
They're
I'm
both
good with
really
either way.
deserving.
Dives, who did you have higher?
I had Darwin Walker number 4 and Mike
Oh, well
Patterson
then.
number 6.
All right, then let's do Darwin then.
All right.
That's how we do things here, folks. We do a little consensus ranking. So, speaking of our missing compadre, not that that had anything to do with it, is he due to back next week? Is that correct?
He is. He
There
is
you
due
go.
back next week.
But we all know Shane deliberately missed this
Right.
show.
Right. Because
Can we all
wanna-
agree to that? Shane,
Yeah,
if you're
he-
listening, you know,
yeah, we know.
like you
Yeah,
thought my list would be limited.
St. Louis.
He did say he enjoyed the show though last week, so he's
Yeah, he said he learned quite a bit.
yeah, man.
So hey, listen, that's what
These are some
that's what we're
great
here to
names.
do. Yeah, we're here to teach, even if it's our own people. All right, folks. We are now down to our last position on the defense. Once again, if you
Put
have
'em
not
up.
seen the last week's episode of the offense, it's in the description, or you can always find it on any of the Edge of Philly Sports social medias. Please check that out. Let us know how we did on the offense. Let us know how we did here. Obviously, we can go ahead, and I'm just talking to make sure Dives had enough time to go ahead and get the man, the myth, the legend, the minister of defense, Reggie White, the number 1 edge player on our list here. We got Mr. Sandman, who seems a little less violent with this. I hope Cullen Jenkins knows Andy Reid would have kicked his ass. There you go. And I am sorry I missed a few minutes, but Brown would have been better than Sapp if he didn't die.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I think when you look at the height of his skill level and his dominance and it's just his raw power, and that's the thing, he was raw.
And
Like-
everybody followed him. He was a damn leader too. Everybody was fearful of him. I mean, he was a man.
Yeah, he absolutely was. I don't doubt that he easily would have Warren who personally, but all right, now we're gonna get into the thick of things here with Edge. I have a feeling this one's gonna get
I think
a
this
little
is second. I think
spicy.
number 2 is easy, but that's just
Okay.
me.
Well then who do you got?
I think it's Clyde Simmons. I think he is criminally underrated as an edge rusher on this on the franchise in general. I think people completely think that he got a lot of his sacks due to Reggie White playing on the other end, but he had a 19 sack season in 1992. Clyde Simmons was an absolute monster.
Yeah. I was a huge fan of Clyde. And yeah, you're right. I think he kind of gets lost in the shuffle of the Jerome Brown and the Reggie White, of the world, if you will, in as far as Eagles are concerned. So
He had 76 sacks in 8 years with the Eagles. I mean, he was.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. All right, Dives, since I know I guess technically you didn't have either of the number 1 or number 2.
No.
Yeah, that's again sacrilegious. So let me just recap for everybody. You have 1 out of the 5 number 1s. You have what? 3 out of the number 2s. Okay, just
No,
just
I'm also giving the show somewhat more like modern flair, you know.
I can't deny that.
yeah, it's something. All right. Yeah, I have Clyde Simmons a heavy number 2. Um, oh,
Oops.
sorry, we both did that at the same time. Dodge, you didn't even have Reggie White number 1. Come on, man.
He was like at the tail end. He was already on the Packers when I started to like really get into.
Well, at least he wasn't on the Carolina Panthers when you started.
I mean, I think he went to the Packers in 1993, right? I mean,
yeah, it was 93
yeah, I mean,
or 4 or something. Yeah.
yeah, I think
Well,
it was 93.
4 wasn't there. Wasn't that the shutout or the lockout or the something? Wasn't there in 94? Or was that baseball?
That was baseball.
Baseball. When
Yeah.
NFL had theirs
The
somewhere.
Expos had the best team in baseball.
Oh, they
and
did. They did.
They had Pedro, Randy Johnson, Larry Walker. Yeah, they were
Andre
immense.
Galarraga.
Yeah,
they had Dawson.
All this means is we're old, but yeah.
Yeah, it really does. Really does. All right, Dave. So now that we've eliminated the true top 2, who's your number 1 there, Mr. Current Times?
Yeah, my number 1 without a question here is he was a first-round draft pick in 2010 out of Michigan. Obviously had the biggest defensive play in my lifetime, the strip sack of Tom Brady. Give me Brandon Graham.
Well, listen, if Brandon Graham is not on your list, there's something wrong with you.
He's not your number 3, though, is he, Ryan?
No, he is not. Is he your number 3?
No.
Oh, okay. All right.
He was my number 4.
Yes, he was my number 4 as well. David, please tell the folks who we had at number 3.
The bow hunter, man. I went with Trent Cole.
Yes, thank you.
Trent Cole.
I know that me and David think a lot alike in these type of things here. So I had no doubt in my mind that he would absolutely have.
He had 86 sacks in 10 seasons. He was the leader of the defense for many, many, many years. Another guy who kind of got lost in things because of the way the team turned out. They never won, and that hurt. He was underrated, like Rufus suggests, and it's all due because they didn't win.
Yeah, pretty much. And yeah, no, you're absolutely right, Mr. Sandman here. Again, choosing nothing but violence tonight. Mike, the workout warrior Mamula.
That was Dibe's most overrated player on some show we did.
Yeah, you guys hated that pick.
Yeah, because it wasn't the most overrated. It was the worst players.
Worst draft pick or something?
Worst draft pick, yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
No, it was the worst players of all time draft.
All time, yeah.
That was fun.
And that's where me and you went back to back wide receiver and Rager, and I picked J Jaw.
So. Yeah, I had Trent Cole as my number 2.
Okay, perfect. And who was your number 3 then?
My number 3, I'm going to go just pound for pound in terms of impact. I got to go Hassan Reddick, man. That 2022 season was just a banger. There was a stretch at the end of the year where he was literally, in my opinion, one of the best defensive players in the NFL. I thought Hassan Reddick at his peak needs to be on this list.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think obviously the knock is that he was only here for a very short time, but he certainly, he certainly had himself quite a bang up couple of years here. So
I had him number 7.
Yeah, I had him number 6. Who was your number 5, David?
My number 5 is Mr. Hugh Douglas.
He's also my number 5.
He started 64 games for the Eagles and had 54 sacks. I mean, he was very dominant in a time when they went to those championship games. They should have never let him go in 2003. They were smart enough to bring him back in 2004. Unfortunately, that was the end of his career after that Super Bowl loss. But he was a phenomenal talent here for the 5 of the 6 years he was here.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's exactly who I had number 5. I am certainly hoping that we get a little bit of Hugh Douglas magic, when it comes to what we have geez, I'm already blanking on his name. The guy we just got from the Jets.
Bryce.
Bryce, thank you. Since we got Hugh from the Jets, I'm
Yeah,
hoping
very similar.
very similar. Where he wasn't an established name there at the Jets. Hugh Douglas was, but he came here and he absolutely made himself nothing but amazing.
I just want to piggyback off of Quentin. Like Hassan Reddick literally started an entire temper tantrum from 49ers players, front office, and fans.
Yep.
And the
when he took
NFL.
out Brock Purdy. Like
Yeah.
they
changed
could
the
not
rule.
handle it, and
No.
it was amazing.
They changed
right.
the rule because of that play.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. They absolutely did. Yeah, listen, Rufus, there's certainly a lot of great players on this list.
Fuller's
William
my
Fuller
number 6.
is great. Burgess, another good one. I mean, I'm whenever we do these type of things, I always feel like I'm missing, I'm probably missing 2 or 3 like major names here.
Fuller was an all-pro when he was here, but Burgess, I liked Burgess especially in 04, but he only had like 8 sacks his entire career with the Eagles. He went over to Oakland and had like 40.
Had his,
That's mainly where he made his noise, but he was a dominant player in 04 when they went to the Super Bowl though.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think that's
and his next year with Oakland, he had like 16 sacks. He averaged 1 a game. He was an absolute heathen.
Yeah, I remember that when he went to Oakland. I'm like, what the hell, dude? Like, where was this? Where was this? Like, nobody saw that coming.
But Fuller was very dominant as an Eagle. He was an all-pro player. He was very good.
Yeah. All right, folks. There you have it. Here is our top 5 Eagles defensive players from 1980 to the present. Do you guys have any maybe honorable mentions you just want to maybe mention in one of the categories that maybe we didn't talk about, or maybe
Greg Brown as an edge rusher for Philly? The guy had 57 or 58 sacks. He was another one of these stories that just comes out of nowhere. He was a construction worker who ends up being their top edge rusher for a few years. It's kind of crazy, but he's a player nobody ever remembers. And Andy Harmon, another guy, man.
Andy Harmon,
really good player.
I would say for linebacker, William Thomas,
one of the greats.
I have a signed William Thomas jersey sitting upstairs.
He probably should have been 5 on this list, quite frankly. But
yeah, now that I'm kind of thinking about it, yeah, he probably should have been at least.
He was better than Carlos Simmons as an Eagle. Yeah. I mean, D'Amico Ryans, my bad.
Yeah, probably right, but all right. Well, there you have it, folks. No Q. Reno Mahe did not play defense.
Andy Reid would put Reno on this list just because.
He probably would have, but
he loved Reno.
He did. He did. So there you have it, folks. Last week we did the offense. This week we did the defense. So check out both shows. Let us know how we did. Comment along and let us know what we did wrong or what you liked. And of course, please make sure that everybody blasts Dimes for his no 1980s talk. It's freaking ridiculous. But anyway, that's going to wrap it up for us tonight. Don't forget, later on tonight, we have Sixers Summer League post game. So Dives is getting ready for that. We have All-Star game going on right now as well. To check that out, from I understand, Bryce Harper hit a nice double.
Nice.
But yeah, Dives, what do you got going on? Let the people know what is up with you.
Last Sunday, a couple days ago, me and Ryan broke down our top 10 defensive linemen in the 2025 NFL Draft. Lots of info there, especially if you are hyped up for EA Sports College Football 25. Get to know who you want to dominate. Get that, highlight as that star player on the field. James Pierce Jr., the list goes on and on. We broke them all down. Last night, me and Ryan also did a segment on our most overrated Eagles. So that was fun. And I am just
Rob is not going to be happy with me.
No, Rob is not. And sorry, Devin White fans. Anyway, I'm excited for next week, man. We're almost there. Like the light is at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah, folks. By the time we come on air next week, the first official day of training camp will have commenced. So if there's anything to talk about, we will be talking about it for sure. David, what do you have going on coming up? Where can the people find you? What can they read, et cetera, et cetera? Floor
You can
yours.
find everything I do on my X account at PHL Eagle News. I too have done some draft stuff during this downtime. I ranked 100 college players. You can find it on my Twitter handle. About 40 of them were holdovers from this season because they all went back to school, especially
So many this
Ohio
year.
State.
There's a lot.
Yeah.
And
They're all in Ohio
I
State.
know they really are.
and yesterday I released I did an interview with Nolan Carroll. Go check it out on there.
Fantastic.
He's a really good dude, man. He still has a lot of love for Philadelphia, and his business ventures outside of football have been amazing. He founded a college. He's the head coach of the college. He has a part of YOLO Rum. He's invested into anything, man. Anything and everything he can get his hands on. So go check it out. He's a really good guy, worth your time to read.
Awesome. Good stuff. Make sure you guys are following both these gentlemen here. They are amazing follows on X. I kind of suck, but I just kind of, ride the coattails. But anyway, folks, that is going to do it for us. We will see you guys next week. Thank you all for joining us. Everybody in the chat, we appreciate all of the feedback. So for Dives, for David, and for Shane, who's out there somewhere, we will see you guys next week on Birds of the Roundtable. Go Birds!